Council President Lyda. Council Pro Tem Posey.
Here.
Councilmember Sweeney.
Here.
Councilmember Driver.
Here.
Councilmember Murphy. Councilmember Middlebrooks. Councilmember McClinton.
Here.
All right, having a quorum of 4 of the 7 of us, I'll ask the clerk to do the invocation and Councilor Driver to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone, please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the great blessings that we have. And I thank you for this city. I also thank you for just the wisdom and guidance to our leaders. And I just thank you for the meeting tonight and just for them having wisdom. In the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
All right, I'm going to make my way down with this proclamation for Constitution Week, if y'all can meet me right here.
Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to the rule by law. And whereas on September 17th, 2025, and the week following, we celebrate the 238th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention in 1787. And whereas the Constitution is the guardian of our individual rights and liberties, embodying the principles of limited government and checks and balances in a republic dedicated to the rule of law. Whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. And whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize this magnificent document in its 238th anniversary. Now, therefore, we, Frank Bricado, Mayor, and Kurt Posey, City Council President Pro Tem, hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through 23rd, 2025 as Constitution Week in the City of Hoover, and encourage all citizens to remember and reaffirm the ideals of the Constitution and reflect on the honor that it is to be an American with all of the rights and responsibilities which that honor involves.
All right. Any other reports or anything to give at this time? I think we do have one coming up later, but that is it. We will move to our regular agenda. We did not have a work session this week, so this will be one of the long form meetings. We will start with payment of the bills, and I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move to approve the payment of the bills.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any questions from the council? Any from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Second, we will consider the motions for August 25th, 2025 and August 29th, 2025.
Mr. President, I move to approve the minutes of August 25th, 2025 and August 29th, 2025.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions on these items from the council? Any from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Resolution number 8559-25, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes Mayor Bricado to execute an agreement with Class-Tran for the provision of transportation services to eligible residents of the city of Hoover, Alabama, in the amount of $19,974.
Mr. President, I move to approve resolution number 8559-25.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Colbaugh, tell us about this item.
Yes, good evening. This is an annual agreement we have with Class-Tran. As Mr. Corley mentioned, the total is $19,974, which is a request in the fiscal year 26 budget Allows us to provide accessible and affordable transportation services for our senior adults and those with disabilities. It provides transportation to and from the senior center from their homes, as well as curb-to-curb service for those that need transportation to various appointments. And something interesting for you all, from October 24th to July 25th this year, there's been 5,315 trips with the origin or destination to Hoover.
Any questions about this item? Any from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Resolution number 8561-25, Mr. Corley. I'm sorry, I skipped one. 8560-25.
This resolution authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement with Meals on Wheels of Central Alabama to provide home-delivered meal services to eligible residents of the city of Hoover in the amount of $10,000.
Mr. President, I move to approve resolution number 8560-25.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Tell us about this item.
Yes, sir. So this, again, is another annual agreement we have with Meals on Wheels of Alabama, Central Alabama. $10,000 request is also included in this fiscal year's 26 budget. And it also provides meals at the senior center as well as to our homebound seniors. In 2024, more than 12,000 meals were served to 169 residents, and that was a financial impact with the meals and the volunteers that serve and delivered them of $127,932.
Any questions from the council? Any from the audience? Hearing none, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Now we will move on to resolution number 8561-25, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes Mayor Brocato to accept a bid number 25-014, from Willoughby Roofing and Sheet Metal, Inc. for the Hoover Recreation Center Roof Improvement Project rebid in the amount of $438,200, and further authorizes the mayor to execute an agreement reflecting the same.
Mr. President, I move to approve resolution number 8561-25.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Pepper.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening. As Mr. Corley said, this is a rebid project, the rec center roof, that we are really excited to get underway. We had 9 bids. Of the 9, 2 were deemed, after review, deemed to be not meeting the minimum specifications. But of the 7, we have chosen one that we are excited to get started with. The winning bid was $438,200, as Mr. Corley said. So we're replacing a single-ply roof with a new single-ply KEE 60 mil. I promised Charles Yates that I would quote all this stuff. It really means nothing to me, but we're looking forward to getting a really good roof, and it does include downspouts and new gutters as well.
Any questions about this item? Any from the audience? Hearing none, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. All right, resolution number 8565-25, Mr. Corley.
This resolution approves a budget amendment for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025, related to increased event activity at the Hoover Met Complex, as shown on Exhibit A to the resolution.
Mr. President, I move to approve resolution number 8565-25.
Second.
For a motion and a second, tell us what's going on at the Met.
Yeah, good evening, council. Appreciate your time. Happy to report that the Hoover Met Complex is experiencing its best financial performance in its history. Through July, net income was more than $1.2 million for the city of Hoover. The previous high was $1,114,000. So with 2 months left to go on our books, very, very excited about where we're headed. Revenues have exceeded budget by $489,000. As we generate more revenue through different events, there is more cost with that through cleaning and security, athletic trainers, labor, and such. And so the good news is that the additional revenue more than offsets our additional costs that we do incur. So we are asking for a budget amendment of $225,000 to generate additional revenue for the city.
It's always good to hear that you're having a record year. Any questions from the council? Any from the audience? Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you.
All right, resolution number 8563-25, Mr. Corley.
This resolution approves a budget amendment for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025 for additional expenditures in the Fleet Department as shown on Exhibit A to the resolution.
Mr. President, I move to approve Resolution Number 8563-25.
Second.
For motion and second, Mr. Moore.
Well, this is due to the increase of the, I guess, maintenance cost is as good as I can put it. We got an increased maintenance cost of 570 police vehicles, and we've done the best we can do to keep them on the road. At this point, I've had to down 8 police Tahoes that are waiting, amongst other public safety departments that we're waiting on repairs. And not only that, this is to finish out the year with fuel. So it should, that should get us where we need to be on fuel and parts and repair.
All right, any questions from the council?
Hey, Dustin, how much of that is all Hoover, or is Pelham included in that number?
Pelham is included in that number. In that number, we're looking at $30,000 approximately to pay off what Pelham it could potentially do. But I have no idea exactly what they're gonna do. There's a little bit of lack of continuity there, and we're not sure what they're gonna ask for between now and then.
All right, thanks.
Any other comments or questions from the council? Any from the audience? I have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. All right, resolution number 8564-25, Mr. Corley.
This resolution approves a budget amendment for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025 to recognize the donation received from Back the Blue Burger campaign and appropriates an additional $893 to the Hoover Police Department as shown on Exhibit A.
Mr. President, I move to approve Resolution Number 8564-25.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Ms. Cornett.
Yes, this is just a budget amendment to accept the revenue from this event and then to authorize spending related to it.
Any questions from the council on this donation? Any from the audience? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. All right, moving on to resolution number 8565-25. Mr. Corley.
Resolution number
66.
856625 authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute a release agreement with the Jefferson County Department of Health, resolving official notice of violation number 3657, and authorizes payment of $1,000 to the Jefferson County Department of Health as a full and final settlement of the matter.
Mr. President, I move to approve Resolution Number 8566-25.
Second.
I have a motion and second. I apologize for missing that number. I'm on my backup pair of glasses and I can barely see, so I need to blow this up a little bit. Mr. Grimes.
This item is related to the lake house and the demolition specifically. That project began as a renovation. If you remember, we put it out to bid, rejected those bids. Then during the transition, after we had completed the documents, we missed a checkbox for demolition. We did abate all asbestos at that time. If you remember, we abated that prior to demolition. So our staff did not understand we had to go back and fill out that form again, since we had actually abated the asbestos. So we negotiated this down to $1,000 as a fine. That's probably the minimal fine. So this is an official release. It also releases Carr Company that did the demolition, but the total is $1,000 total for that project, and we'll be paying that.
Any questions from
Yes,
Mr.
Mr.
Grimes?
President. What steps are we going to take to prevent having this kind of an error in the future?
We've made it very clear to Jefferson County Department of Health, as well as we will do the same with Shelby, should we have to do this for the NCFI project in Shelby County, that we'll fill out all of the forms and check all of the boxes. So we have actually met with them personally to do this. So we did not understand, and our COO at the time, and still COO, Blake Miller, made it very clear that it was a confusing form, but we understand better after talking with them face to face. They defend their forms very, very well. And that since we had made the abatement, we said there was no product in it, but we understand better.
Any other questions from the council? Any from the audience on this item? Hearing none, we have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Now we'll move on to item 10. That way I can't screw up the number. Mr. Corley.
Resolution number 856725 authorizes Mayor Brocato to accept a bid number 25-018 from Monroe Electric Company for the electrical maintenance and repair services, and further authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement for the same.
I move to approve Resolution 8567-25.
Second.
A motion and second. Mr. Yates, tell us about this project, and I understand we have a presentation also with this project. If you Next item. Okay, we'll wait on that. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We took bids for the electrical maintenance repairs needed, for instance, at the SEC Championship, when we have electricians on site. That's part of his responsibilities, provide people to be there and equipment. So we bid this out I think it's every 4 years, and he came back as the sole bidder. So that's where we're at.
All right. Any questions about this item?
Mr. President, I was planning to abstain from this item, but I realized upon review that this is not one that I need to abstain from, so just for clarity, it will just be items 11 and 12.
No problem, no problem. Any other comments before we vote? Any from the audience? Okay, hearing none, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Now, we have item number 11, Mr. Corley.
Resolution 856825 approves a budget amendment for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025 for Phase 1 of the power restoration at Hoover East as shown on Exhibit A to the resolution.
I move to approve Resolution 8568-25.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll begin with a presentation from Mr. Grimes.
All right, just a real quick overview. We have members of the team here, and in just a second, you'll have a presentation from Alfred Maiola from Dewberry Engineering. Alfred is an electrical engineer, and so he actually wrote the report related to the testing that was done earlier in the summer by Faraday Testing, which was also part of the last meeting or two where you approved some of the expenses related to Monroe Electric, who you just approved as an annual bid. So a lot of that is to get us where we are today. And as I said, just to reiterate, we went into this looking through the testing to find a problem. We found multiple and many problems across the campus, which I'll let Alfred tell you about what that means. In your packet for this item, when he finishes that, Mindy Wyatt will give you a quick overview of our presentation and just a quick strategy of what we're trying to do, breaking this up into 2 stages. Tonight is stage 1. The bulk of tonight's expense that we're asking for will buy transformer hubs from the power company. And that will get us moving with all 3 hubs in the park with those transformers to get us converted to low voltage. So I will remind you of that now. And then the other is the professional services to guide us through this as we kind of begin to work on it. So at this point, Alfred, if you want to come on. You do have the full report with the Faraday testing, and then Alfred can explain that in layman's terms a little bit.
Good evening. My name's Alfred Maiola. As you mentioned, I work for Dewberry Engineering. So you can go ahead and hit the next slide. I'll try to keep this brief. Obviously, I left the packet for your information. So the questions I want to try to get clarified this evening is what's going on, what has been done, and why it's happening, and then ultimately what led to our recommendation. Go ahead and hit the next slide. So just a quick overview of the park to make sure everybody understands what areas we're talking about. In red is going to be Hub A, in blue is going to be Hub B, and in orange is Hub C. Go ahead and hit the next slide. The point I want to illustrate here is this facility is primary metered, meaning that the delivered voltage is 7,200 volts. In comparison, a typical commercial application is going to be 480 volts or less. In comparison, your house is going to be served at 240 volts. So to give a little illustration of that, go ahead and hit the next slide. So on your left there is a typical secondary meter setup, which would be at that delivered voltage of 480 or less. On the right is what Hoover East is set up as, is primary meter delivered at 7,200 volts. The important thing to note here is that basically red would be the utility, or in this case, Alabama Power, what owns and maintains. Blue would be the city. So go ahead, next slide. A quick aerial overview of the park. There's 2 service points on this park. That's going to be service point, what I'm calling 1, feeds Hub A. Service point 2 feeds Hub B and C. This illustration is just a quick sample of how the park is fed. It's a very typical setup where Each sports lighting circuit is served at medium voltage. Each concession stand is done the same. They're all knocked down to a usable voltage at 240. Just a basic sketch here and then showing this in reality, right? Your medium voltage cables are all underground or in the poles. Each pole has a transformer and delivers the voltage at 240. All right, so the timeline of how we got to where we are today, back in spring of 2024, after the turfing project was completed, there was a visual occurrence of arcing in between two fence posts at Hub B, Field 789. There was a metallic bond that was added between the two fence posts to try to alleviate the issue. A second incident happened about a year later, which prompted voltage measurements to be taken at every hub to see what was going on in the park. That ranged from 1 to 28. It's just a note that any amount of voltage is something to be concerned about when we're talking about from fence to the ground. That's where then we lead into this spring, where we first got contacted to start investigating what was going on. So the quick overview of just what has been done, right? First thing we noticed was that we corrected building grounds, we corrected the sports lighting circuit transformer grounds. All that is code issues and had to have been done regardless. When that didn't alleviate the problems, we looked deeper into what led to the continuity testing of the medium voltage cables. All that means is measuring the connection from point to point and making sure it's a clean pathway for current to flow. So you can hit the next slide. So a quick overview of the findings of those testings were a majority of the cables failed. There was also some visual evidence of some arcing and previous electrical faults. Another important thing to note is these faults may have happened in the past. There's no rhyme or reason why they could have happened. It could have been lightning, could have been rodents, and what have you. There's no indication, there's no previous history to tell you exactly what happened there. So just a basic diagram that I'll kind of leave for you that hopefully illustrates where something is going awry here. Basically, what the measurements led to was that, again, there's damaged cables out of the facility. That's what's pushing current going through the ground and leading to an electrical hazard, propagating voltage onto the fence, which is a safety hazard for the occupants. So I'll leave you with that, but I won't get too deep into the technical here. So if you want to hit the next slide. So again, to reiterate, right, current is going to take all paths back to its source. When there's damage here, that can come back through the ground. And essentially what is happening out the park is because of those damaged cables, current's coming through the ground and it's going over the fence, which is creating a hazard. And next slide. All right, so which led us to our recommendation, and that's to demolish the existing electrical distribution out the park. A majority of the cables are failing. It's aged. It's at the point where it is failed. It's been sustaining multiple faults, obviously through the visual evidence, and then the combine that with the measurements taken out the park. Due to all these different issues, no matter what, it's going to be a costly repair and it's going to be disruptive, which led us to the recommendation to demolish the system in its entirety. So then just to re-summarize the original four questions we want to get answered, try to clarify today is, what does the park have to maintain, right? And that's going to be the medium voltage. What's the current situation is that voltage is present on the fence. And what has been done so far, grounding corrections, again, that were code required and had to be done. And then documentation on the testing of the circuits and the medium voltage cables. What's causing these problems is the failing cables. And then lastly, what's our recommendation? And that's to demolish it in its entirety due to the extensive amount of failures at the park. So,
Any questions on this presentation?
Do we know a timeline? What
For-
does it take to remedy it?
sure.
Good. Carry on.
Thank you. Might need you. All right, good evening, council. So what I really would like to talk about is how do we begin to remedy the situation that we find ourselves in. Of course, our top priority is safety. After that, it would be time constraints because we want to get this park back up and usable for our citizens as soon as possible. And then third is, of course, cost. We want to do so in as costly or as least costly of a manner as possible. So meeting with the project team, we thought it would be best from a time constraint to break this into 2 phases or segments of achievement. The first one would allow us to proceed with restoring those main hub transformers and then restore power to the concessions and the restrooms and the maintenance buildings. And then the second stage would be to replace the existing field lighting with a low voltage solution. And the reason that we wanted to do that was so that we could go ahead and take advantage of getting the equipment in, getting things on order, allowing our staff to do some work that they can do. We believe that they can actually restore the power from the hubs to the concessions and restrooms. We think that can be an internal project. And of course, the hub transformers, that would be a sole source from Alabama Power. So we are asking tonight for a budget amendment for $500,000 to get us started on this first phase so that we can go ahead and get these products on order. And while we're working on getting those things on order, we can begin to examine the solution for the field lighting. We do need an electrical engineer's assistance to do so, and we want to make sure that we're being as safe as possible and have all of that designed appropriately. In addition to that, we would like to ask Lemoyne to come on board and help oversee the project just to give us that extra layer of expertise because we are dealing with electrical issues and they are very sensitive, of course, and we want to make sure that we are being as safe as possible. So the $500,000 tonight, we would allocate that. $85,000 would be allocated to electrical engineering design work. $250,000 would be to replace those hub transformers. $100,000 would be for our teams to run power to the concessions, restrooms, and the maintenance building, and then $65,000 for overall project management. I do want to say typically we bring hard costs when we ask for a budget amendment, but due to the time constraints on this project, we created allowances based on some initial inquiries, and we put some of those basis of estimates inside your packet so you kind of have an idea. We're doing our best to make a really good estimate of what we think this first initial tranche is going to be needed, but we also know that these are estimates and we may have to come back and adjust. But we would do that when we bring you an estimate for the field lighting. So we want to get started and then we want to bring you back a better plan to replace all of the field lighting once we have an idea of narrowing that down and getting it more specific, and then examining a procurement strategy to make sure that we are making the best decisions with our money as possible. And the final thing I'll say is a portion of the work done by the electrical engineer and the project manager will be to help us scope that field lighting solution and evaluate that procurement strategy. So happy to answer any questions that I can.
Thank you. You said this is the first phase, so
Yes.
guesstimate for the whole thing. What do you guess it might be?
Time or money?
Both?
We have some rudimentary costs for the field lighting to be anywhere from $3.5 to $5 million. Those are very high level estimates at this point. And time, we are looking at about up to 22 weeks to get this initial phase done. We're going to do everything that we can to plan a good project and compress that time, but the best estimate on the field lighting is about 11 months right now.
Any other questions? Any from the audience?
I'd love to hear what the Hoover East guys have to say.
Come on down.
Hi, Council. I'm Daniel Rives. I'm president of the Hoover Athletic Association. Are those durations concurrent, the 11 months and then the 20, you said 22 weeks? Or those?
It is our goal to make everything, to run everything concurrent that we're able to. We don't have it defined to the level that I could say just yet, But we do know that as soon as we can get funding to have Lemoyne on board and an electrical engineer on board, and that agreement has not been made yet, that would fall under professional services. So as soon as we can get Lemoyne on board, then they will help us select an electrical engineer. We'll bring an agreement back for those professional services, and we'll have a better idea of what that timeline will be. In the meantime, as soon as we can, we'll get that, the equipment on order from Alabama Power, and whatever we can do ourselves, we'll go ahead and start doing. So we'll be identifying those things as we go through the project. And we do understand that time is of the essence, which is why we're breaking this up in an unusually typical way from what we normally do. Normally, we would scope everything, bring you back a really better hard cost and a better estimate, but it would take us a few months to even get to that point.
So does I guess all the team sports still keep going on under different conditions? Y'all move them somewhere else or what?
Yeah, the Park and Rec, tell me if I'm wrong, the Park and Rec has it scheduled through the fall at other facilities. So right now, they're able to work through the fall, but we move into different seasons. So Hub C becomes important for lacrosse and I think some soccer activities. And then back to the spring, we were talking, I think, January, February, March. That's right. So if it can be, and that's where we need the subject matter expert to help us guide all of these different decisions. Because tonight, the key tonight is getting those power company transformers ordered, because there is a long lead time if we miss what is available. So that is the reality there. But I think that's part of the decision that trying to work through. So I would say yes, if it is, say, Hub A, if Hub A is the priority and we start working that becomes part of the planning of the wiring first. So the key becomes, are the poles usable? And that's where the engineer also needs to fit in, because that is an assumption that price does not include poles.
Any other comments, sir? Okay. Any other comments from the council? Audience? Okay. We have a motion and second. Councilor Driver will be abstaining from this vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Then we'll move on to item number 12, which is related to this project. Mr. Corley.
Resolution 8569 authorizes the mayor to execute an agreement with Lemoyne for project management services related to power restoration at Hoover East Park.
I move to approve resolution 856925.
Second.
Have a motion and second. You mentioned this earlier, but do you want to cover again the?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
This would be the agreement to engage Lemoyne to help us with the project management for Hoover East, beginning with the first phase and then heading into the second phase. Right now, it is set not to exceed $65,000.
Any questions from the council on this item? Any from the audience? Motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Christie is abstaining from the vote. Okay, now, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Moving on to item number 14, Mr. Corley.
I think you skipped
go to
number
item
13.
Let's skip 13. I don't have
Resolution
a 13.
854925 authorizes abatement of a weed or other vegetation nuisance at 2874 Wisteria Drive, Hoover, Alabama.
Okay, this copy did not have a 13. I apologize for that.
Mr. President, I move to approve resolution number 8549-25.
Second.
Okay, let's start with the public hearing. Mr. Martin.
Yes, sir. Good news is we started the weekend with 2 nuisances in need of abatement. We're down to 1 at 2874 Wisteria Drive as of today. The property is still in need of abatement, and photographs have been provided.
All right. Anyone here to speak for or against this item? In public hearing? No, then we'll close the public hearing. We have a motion and second. Any comments from the council? Any from the audience on this item? Okay. Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Now we'll move on to item number 14. Number 14. Mr. Corley.
This is ordinance number 25-2680, which declares certain property located at 3989 Lorna Road, Hoover, Alabama, is unneeded for municipal purposes, and authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute a real estate sales agreement between the city and Cahaba Landing Development, LLC.
All right. Before we begin, we have a request for unanimous consent to suspend the rules on this item. In order to do so, every council member will have to vote in the affirmative to suspend the rules. Do I have a motion to do so?
Mr. President, I move to adopt ordinance number 25-2680.
Second.
We need to suspend the rule. Okay, all right. For immediate consideration, okay? I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilor Sweeney?
Aye.
Councilor Driver?
Aye.
Councilor McClinton?
Aye.
Councilor Posey?
Aye. All right, now, now that we have that taken care of, turn it over to Mr. Knighton.
Absolutely. So council will recall that back in April of 2022, council approved the purchase of the old Bama Concrete site at 3989 Lorna Road. And then there was a small strip of land owned by Galleria Woods that divided those parcels. They council approved the purchase of that parcel in September of 2022. An RFP was sent out to developers in March of 2023 soliciting proposals for redevelopment of the upper parcel to take advantage of the riverfront. And we had, after our grading process, we came back with a group called Cahaba Landing, whose representatives are here tonight with us. Should council have any questions about that? And I believe that you're in possession of the purchase sale agreement. I sent that to you. Some key points on that my colleague Brandon Cummings has, and we'll cover for you.
Yes, so a couple of highlights pertaining to this PSA is that the purchaser will deposit $10,000 in earnest money, which becomes non-refundable after the due diligence period and will be applied at closing. In Section 3, the purchaser has up to 270 days to complete inspections, studies, and evaluations with the option to terminate the agreement if the property is not approved for the intended use. In Section 4, a shared parking agreement and access easement will be recorded to connect the upper parcel with the lower parcel, which the city will retain. And this ensures connectivity and supports the city's planned recreational use of the lower parcel. Then in Section 10, the transaction must close no later than 30 days after the end of the due diligence period. And at that time, the city will convey the property with clear title. And in Section 14, the city represents that it holds good marketable title and that there are no known hazardous materials or pending condemnation proceedings on the property. Section 16, the purchaser and seller must both enter into a mutually agreeable development agreement during the due diligence period to address any permissible property uses and incentives, if any, before closing. And finally, in Section 31, the city agrees to coordinate with the purchaser on a site plan for the lower parcel that complements the development of the upper parcel and advances the city's parks, greenway, and blueway plans along the Cahaba River corridor.
Absolutely. If you have any questions for the developer from Cahaba Landing, they're here to talk a little bit about their plans for the property this evening.
Yeah, come on down.
Great, Hunter Strickler.
Thank you. Good evening. Hunter Strickler, joined by my business partner, Hunter Bridwell. We represent a local development team, actually all Hoover residents, all graduates of Hoover High School. This is a particularly important project for us, a passion project where we want to give back to the local community that has given so much to us. In fact, this property, we think, is well suited to take advantage of the city's comprehensive parks plan, which we appreciate the city's leadership on, to activate the river alongside the upper parcel, as Brandon mentioned, which we think will be anchored by a food and beverage tenant, as well as light retail, co-working, and really sort of built out around a common green space. We really think that this is an opportunity to create a unique community hub for the entrance to the River Chase community. That's the community I grew up in. My kids go to school at River Chase Elementary. And so there's much work ahead for us in due diligence, but we are excited about our local team sort of reinvesting in the local community.
Any questions for these gentlemen?
Yes, Mr. President. Maybe this is a question for Greg. What's the reason for the request for immediate consideration instead of having a first and second reading?
And Mr. Attorney, City Attorney, correct me if I'm wrong, we would have had to have done a first reading and then a second reading to declare the property unneeded or excess property. So tonight was just, and that was a slip on my staff side. We didn't realize that process had to take place, so we were just asking if that could be done tonight.
But what's the reason why we can't proceed with a first hearing and a second hearing? Is there some urgency to wrapping this up by a certain date?
Oh, just trying to get the contract underway, but if the body wishes to extend it, then I think the developer would understand that as well.
And do we have a sense yet of the fair market value of the property?
So an appraisal will have to be done as part of this process as part of the purchase sale agreement.
Okay. And then remind me why we purchased the property in the first place?
So it was purchased so that something could, well, the lower parcel was always intended to be kept as city-owned property to take advantage of the riverfront. And what we believe and studies have shown is that a kayak and canoe launch are the most useful sites, or the most useful purposes for the site. And then the upper parcel was always to take advantage of a commercial activity along the river, like a food and beverage activity or a kayaking and canoeing and outrigging type of facility as well.
Any other questions? Any from the audience? Mr. Smith.
Gene Smith, Magnolia Grove. I'm not trying to interrupt the project at all. My one question has to do with procedure. It has always been my understanding that when a municipality sells assets, whether it be a car, a computer, a painting, or a printer, or property, that it has to be at auction. And I don't know that this is at auction, so is it a legal sale under state code?
Mr. Corley.
And I'm worried that this might cause an interruption to the project itself.
Okay.
Yes, no, it's not required to be auctioned, and in fact, the nature of the sale agreement is to allow the city and the developer to work together on a potential development agreement to make sure the uses and benefits are mutually beneficial.
Could you email me possibly the section of state code that you're referring to?
Sure.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Any other comments from the audience? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Sweeney?
No.
Councilor Driver?
No.
Councilor McClinton?
Yes.
Councilor Posey?
Aye. With 2 noes and 2 yeses, the resolution fails. Moving on to set a public hearing for September 22nd for resolution number 8570-25. Mr. Corley.
This resolution grants conditional use approval for the operation of Solstice, a business offering jewelry, body piercings, permanent cosmetics, and tattoo services at the property located at 1676 Montgomery Highway, Suite C, pursuant to the conditions included in Exhibit 2 to the resolution. A public hearing is scheduled for September 22nd, 2025.
Mr. Martin, you have a presentation on this item?
Just briefly, that the Planning Commission considered this case at their August meeting. And this property, it's a shopping center located just north of Patton Chapel Road on Highway 31. It's one of the tenant units in that building. And as a recommendation to this body, the Planning Commission recommended approval contingent on the business obtaining a certificate of occupancy and a business license prior to opening.
Any questions on this item? All right, we will take this up at our September 22nd meeting. Thank you. Move on to council comments. I do want to point out that we have a runoff election coming up, and Mr. Smith and Ms. Lovell are here in the council chamber. I was in a runoff for this seat in 2016, and it astounded me looking at the data the other day that there were about 8,000 people that voted in the primary election and only about 3,000 that voted in the in the runoff. It's very important when you're talking about filling all 7 seats up here, and I know Sam and Robin have been in a runoff as well, to get out and vote for those seats as well. The job is not done until you have 7 people seated up here, and those runoff elections are important. These people are out here still campaigning and still pushing for your vote, so get out and support them, and let's not have a drop off of a quarter when we get to these runoffs that we saw from the primary election. They are very important. I do want to recognize former Council President Gene Smith and Joe Rives for being here. Former councilman always coming back. We will be there in a couple of weeks, so look for us out in the audience as well. And Josh Sisk as well. All right. Any comments or questions from anybody else?
Yeah, well, I'm sure everybody saw Miss America last night. Emma Terry did Hoover in Alabama, very proud. I think she got robbed, but anyway, we'll discuss that later. But I want to give kudos to Chief Bentley's family, especially Julie Bentley. Without her doing what she's doing, the voodoo that she does is fantastic. I mean, what she has done is put Hoover on the map. And I don't know who's going to replace her, because I think her time's about to come to an end, because her daughter's about to get into the circuit. So I just know Hoover owes the Bentleys a debt of gratitude. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, just
Yes, ma'am.
briefly, I do want to just explain and clarify the reason that I voted no on the ordinance about the sale of the property is just that I didn't feel like I got enough information early enough to be able to make a good decision on that. And so, it's not anything against the project, and certainly welcome you to bring it back in the future when we've had some more time to consider it and look at it.
Anyone else? Nothing? Okay. Any comments from the audience? Then
Matt Winther, Scout Creek Drive. I want to ask this council to thank Ms. Cornett for helping Hoover. She took the position when Hoover was in more financial disarray than most knew. She recognized the situation and took action. The requests she made were difficult, and I'm sure they set this city in a better direction. Ms. Cornett, I wish you the best in your next opportunity. I had some more to say, but I think that probably did it. I'm going to give the council a handout. I have some concerns about hydroengineering solutions, and I'd like for y'all to read that over, please.
Any other comments from the public tonight? Well, that was a good segue into closing to allow Jennifer to come up and say a few words on her way to her next venture.
Yes, he kind of stole my thunder, but thank you. Yeah, good evening. I just want to take a few minutes tonight to express my thanks to Mayor Mercado and to council for giving me the opportunity to serve as the Chief Financial Officer and the Treasurer. As you all are aware, I'll be stepping down from these roles effective October 1st, but it's been a privilege and an honor to serve the city. I would especially like to thank the Finance Department team for their hard work and perseverance during a difficult season. These employees are dedicated professionals who consistently look out for what is best for the city, and they constantly try to do the next right thing. So even under the weight of a lot of political pressure, they carry themselves with integrity and dignity, and for that, I'm extremely proud. Their resilience is a credit to the city, and I know that they'll continue to serve in excellence. Finally, this city is blessed with department leaders who genuinely care about this community and give their best every day. At the end of the day, it's the people who make the difference, and I have enjoyed being a part of the Hoover family. Thank you. My hope is that the work we've done together will continue to strengthen the city's position and ensure stability for years to come. So thank you for the trust you placed in me, the support I've received, and for the chance to contribute to a great city.
You know, it's important to say to all of you out here, everybody that comes to these meetings and watches these meetings, that these people out here, the people in the back of this room, Ms. Cornett, everyone that's over here in the front as well, they do the work of the city. We're up here for 4 years, 5 years, 9 for me, and we're here temporarily. But when we leave these seats and people come into these seats like Robin, their work continues. And they love this city. They work hard for this city every single day, and they give their career for this city. And everybody that has come through this door, and I know her job is especially difficult and was even made more difficult with the Kroll report and going in and trying to correct those things, adds to that legacy of the city and adds to the greatness of this city and the foundation we build upon. And just, I'd be remiss not to thank all of you and thank Ms. Cornett as well for everything you do every day. We had the election, we had the fun, the political part of it, but y'all's work continues and your work will continue for years to come. So thank you. And with that, we are adjourned.